name is the Prime Engine, and today I'm going to show you how to use Vim. And what do you mean by how to use Vim? Okay, you have a lot of videos on Vim. All my videos tend to be centered around how to do something. This video is going to be more centered around why I do what I do and kind of walking through my workflow. It's going to be a little different pace, and hopefully this is really beneficial to you. And how I'm going to show you that is by actually creating a feature in one of my projects I'm working for right now live on stream. So let me give you a little bit of context before we start. All right, so I am building an animation library just completely from scratch, only because I really like A, to do building things from scratch, gives me good understanding, but B, I just really want to make something the way I think is pretty darn awesome. And so effectively, I can specify in JSON a bunch of information. It'll move around these things, be able to do rotations, scales, translations, all in 3D, constructs the matrices, does all the multiplication, blah, 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 blah. But obviously, there's a problem. Look at it. They're done animating. They're done, but they just remain on screen. So I want to be able to specify how long these things should live. All right, so the project kind of works in such a way that there's a big ass JSON that has all the descriptions of the transforms. It also has all the elements, images, whatever I want to be translating. It will actually go in, it will load them off screen, and it will move them on screen once they are done and we are starting to animate. So in other words, if I load in, say, an image, it's going to first take this image, put it over here, load it from the interwebs. When it's done, it's going to notify me. And then after that, when it should be on screen, it will be moved onto screen. But obviously the problem is that I have two choices I can make. A, when it's done doing all of its transitions specified within its, JSON, then I can remove it, right? Boom, it's done. But that way kind of sucks because that means if I just have something that wants to sit on screen, I have to have like a fake transition, right? I want you to translate from 0, 0 to 0, 0 over the course of 20 seconds. That kind of sucks. The second way I can do it is I can just have a hard-coded required lifetime value. This also sucks in the sense that I just want something that translates, animates, does its thing, and when it's done, it's removed. All right, so I think we could actually accomplish both those things right now. And so you can see how I do my workflow. Now, obviously, this is going to involve a lot of code you're not familiar with. So hopefully you don't just sit there and only look at the code I am writing, but instead you're actually trying to understand how I'm moving through code, how I'm jumping to each place I jump to, and the tricks and little, experience units that I have that you can adopt. All right, so first I want to fix up the timeline. I want to fix up the JSON. So I'm just going to jump over to timeline and start doing this work. Now, the first thing you're probably asking yourself is, how did I jump to that file? If you already know about fuzzy finders, just bear with me for 10 seconds. You just shared. I am recording a YouTube video. Shut the front door. So I use Telescope as my fuzzy finder. Now this will only work with NeoVim. And of course it's made by TJ. If you're only using Vim, use FCF. It is a great fuzzy finder. I'm sure there's other ones, but I really enjoyed this one while I used it. It allows you to do a bunch of cool stuff. Same with Telescope. I use it for all sorts of different items. All right, so now I'm in the file that I need to be, and I need to edit my two timelines, right? Because I have these two different divs that are kind of being animated around. So the first thing I'm going to do, just because this is a little trick in my head because I know what I need to edit, is I'm going to press star on the timeline. What that does for me is it automatically uses timeline, the word that I'm on, as a search. So now I can press next to go to each one. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to go like this. Lifetime, let's put it as 2 seconds. I'm going to highlight it, go down here, and I'm going to press it. Have it right there. Word it over, and let's have this one be 5 seconds. In fact, let's have this one be no seconds, because what I want with this one is I want this one to end when it's done animating, and I want the first one to end when the lifetime has ended. Now you'll notice right away I have this like little red thing like, hey dude, what's going on here? What is this? This isn't supposed to exist. Well, that is from the LSP. Now it's funny you call it an LSP. It's actually my language client telling me via the language server protocol that the language server said that is incorrect. But we call it LSP. Why do we call it LSP? I have no idea. But we're just gonna call it an LSP. Here it is. It's an LSP right there. I use the NeoVim LSP, which is a little bit more like build it yourself style. So it's not going to be that creamy, smooth VS Code experience where you're just like, oh, hey, you're using TypeScript, so install TypeScript, boom, you get everything. Instead, this one's going to be a little bit more kind of do it yourself. So if you're going to try this yourself, go to this config file inside of the LSP, NeoVim LSP config, the LSP, config NeoVim, whatever, you go here. Just go here. And you can search up something like TS server. You go to TS server and it'll say, hey, this is how you do it all. Okay, this is pretty simple. Add that to your RC. Make sure you have these things available in your path, and boom, you're up and running. I use NeoVim Complete to actually do all of my autocomplete. It's pretty darn nice. I highly suggest this one. Fairly easy to get set up. I literally just cut and paste and boom, I'm up and running. Now remember, this is only for NeoVim. If you're using Vim or you don't want to have to do the do-it-yourself style, COC, Conquer of Completion, COC for short, is a fantastic autocompleter. Honestly, it is one of the best. And it's not only that, but it also is the full integration, right? You can jump to definition, you can rename. It has this COC search feature, which is incredible. It's a really full-featured, amazing library. And this one's definitely much closer to that VS Code style. Oh, you want to use TypeScript? COC install TS. Boom, you're up and running. Oh, you want ESLint? COC install ESLint. It just runs, it does it. It has configuration for each one. Super simple to get started with. Of course, with Vim, you do have to set up all your own remaps. So I use this really simple scheme. Leader V goes into like my Vim operations. I can jump to definition, go to implementation, signature, help, references, rename. I kind of just have my own little way I do things. All right, so now that I covered all of that ground, let's jump to definition. So I'm going to go leader VD, jumps to definition. Okay, so since I know this, I'm going to use Control U just to jump up a half page. I want to go to the base, but I really need to go to the timeline. So I can go like this. I can go 4 down, word over, jump to definition. There it is. Looks like I have duration already built in here, but instead I'm going to call it lifetime because it just feels better. Okay, so we've made it optional. Now I actually need the program in the destruction. So once again, let's use our fuzzy finder. Let's go to animator. Let's jump over here. Let's go to the bottom. I just use G to go to the bottom. I know this function's already at the bottom. Right now, you'll notice that it's poorly named start. Probably should be run, but hey, it's built on Stream. Stream Brain doesn't necessarily think ahead. So let's put in the destroy code. So first I'm gonna go like this. If this.l, now remember, all this auto completion right here is done via compy for me, or COC if you choose to go that route. There's other autocompleters, but you know, I just use the one I use, right? So I can see each one of these things. I can jump ahead. All right, so if we have a lifetime, then what I want to do is I want to await my wait, right? It's just a little fun little function, this.l. Oh my goodness, that's way too long. I don't know if you saw that little trick right there, but what I did is I did Y for yank, I for inside, and then what are these things called again? Parentheses. There you go. Yank inside the parentheses. So I grabbed that whole little item right there. So now I can go here. I can go V to the end, P, and I'll paste in that whole thing over that. Close it. Boom. We're going to wait for the lifetime. Else, let's wait for all these animations to be done. And then once we've done that, we need to take our element and destroy it. Now, obviously, it's going to say, hey, destroy does not exist here. So let's go to our element, oopsies, and jump to its definition. Okay, it is an element. Let's jump to that definition. All right, it's right here. So let's add in a nice destroy method. Notice I use Control D to move downwards. I feel like Control D and U have become my new favorite forms of navigation. I used to exclusively just use jump by paragraph. If you don't know what a paragraph is, it's just any contiguous block of code. But the problem with that is that it does alter the jump list, and I do like to keep that functionality, and I only use it in specific times. So let's just do it right now, right where we were. So I'm going to go public, destroy, do this nice little thing, tree sitters off, so I get these weird indents. Don't mind that. And let's go like this. This dot canvas, which is where we were put on, remove, I never remember these things, remove child, there we go, this dot L, and we are done. When we destroy, we just simply remove it off the screen. I'm sure there's some other things we could do. We could make this more efficient, clean up all the references, make sure that it gets garbage collected, etc., etc. But for the sake of this, we don't need to go through all that. Now I'm going to use a little trick here to go back to my previous file. I'm going to use Control Shift 6 would be for you, but for me, it's just caret. Right? I'm going to go to caret. When I jump to caret, I go right back from whence I came. It's called alternate file. I use this all the time. There we go. Go here. Everything looks good. So now let's jump back into here and let's go back to my example. So if I've done this correct, one of these should be removed. There you go. Black was removed right away. That one was removed right at the end of its transition. So let's just prove to ourselves that I actually did what I did. So I'm going to reopen up timeline. Notice fuzzy finder. Jump here. Go to the bottom. And let's see, I'm going to add in a lifetime of, how about 1 second? So the green square should just be removed while it's translating. All right, jump here, refresh, and there it goes, and boom, it's gone. Hopefully hopefully you've enjoyed this. Like, I'm just really thinking about how I program and trying to walk through the things that I do intentionally. I know seeing other people's workflows is exceptionally helpful in how people get things done. For me, I rely heavily on the LSP to jump to definition. Really, that's the big thing. If I don't have an LSP, I can always use grep to search for those, go through the grep results, maybe put them in a quick fix list, scroll through them until I find the definition. But it's that type of movement that I do. Now, I know all the files off the top of my head. I could use the fuzzy finder, but for whatever reason, I find it more convenient just to use definition jumping. It's a few keystrokes, and I don't have to play the game of recall the file, type in the super secret, easiest way to make it be the first option, and then jump to it, and then find that reference within the file. Instead, just jump directly to it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this, this little thing here, okay? You got me. You got kind of stream brain there for a second. You got the Twitch experience, but on YouTube. My name's the Primogen. The Discord is still filled with degenerate script kiddies. It is incredible, the amount of nonsense. By the way, I have to ban people every now and then. Don't come in and be weird, okay? Don't be weird, but come in. Enjoy yourself, okay? Make yourself at home. Little bathroom ramen. Okay, get out. Just get out. Get the hell out.